Hi guys, hope you're doing well. I miss you lots. I'm working on lesson 33, session 2 on page 721 today. And remember, we're just classifying and sorting shapes based on their different attributes, but today's is just based on their sides. Okay, so no angles to worry about today, just what kind of sides they have. So for the problem on our first page, it says Evan plays a board game. The board is divided into 3 sections. So the 3 sections are parallel sides, perpendicular sides, and then parallel and perpendicular sides. So which shapes have both? These are Evan's cards. In which sections of the board do the cards belong? There's a hexagon, a rhombus, a parallelogram, and a trapezoid. So where do we need to sort these shapes? So for your work to show down here, you could kind of make a list, like parallel sides, here are all the shapes. I'm going to make it like the sections of the board game, so I'm going to make a little chart. Sorry, I got to hold the other side of the book. Let me roll it underneath. A little better. Okay. So for my chart, I'm going to have the 3 sections up at the top right here. So one was parallel, perpendicular, long word, and both. I'm just going to say both instead of writing parallel and perpendicular. Okay, so 3 sections. And you can draw the shapes in the chart, or you can just label what they are, like hexagon, rhombus, parallelogram, trapezoid. You can write the name of the shape, or you can redraw them. That's up to you. So which ones have parallel sides? Well, the hexagon, I know the top is parallel to the bottom. Same with all the sides. This side is parallel to that side. This side is parallel to that side. But I don't want to put it here yet. Let me check if it has perpendicular, because if it has both, then it goes in this category, not just the parallel sides. I don't see any right angles. Remember, parallel sides are across from each other at the same distance. They will never meet. Perpendicular sides make a right angle. Okay, and then if it has both. So I don't see any right angles in there, so it does not have any perpendicular sides, so it doesn't go here or here. It only has parallel, so hexagon goes in the parallel side category. Rhombus has this side, the top is parallel to the bottom, and this side is parallel to that side. There are no right angles again. That's acute, obtuse, acute, obtuse. So the rhombus also only goes in that category because it does not have any perpendicular sides. Parallelogram, so like the name says, parallelogram, this side is parallel to that one, because if you continue those lines, this left side and the right side, longer, you would see that they will never meet. They'll be across from each other the same distance forever. And this like slanted top side and this slanted bottom are also parallel. Definitely no right angles though. That's a tiny acute angle, big obtuse, acute, obtuse. So I'm trying and fit that whole name in here. Parallelogram. And trapezoid. So the top is parallel to the bottom. These 2 sides are not parallel to each other though, right? Because they'll eventually continue up and meet at a point. But there are no right angles. That's obtuse, obtuse, acute, acute. So there's no perpendicular sides. None of those make a right angle, so they're not perpendicular. So trapezoid goes in this category too. Nothing in perpendicular, nothing in both. Okay, that's all you do for that whole page. So let's answer some questions about it on the next page. Whoa, a lot going on. Okay, so on page 722, we need to answer some questions about what we just did. This is the problem again, remember the categories. Then they drew pictures, or they redrew the lines, kind of like how I did below the category. So parallel lines, remember, never will meet. They're the same distance apart, okay? Perpendicular lines can cross like that to make right angles, or they can just be like part of it, right? Just the like part of that shape to make a right angle. That would be like just this section of that drawing. So if you draw lines along opposite sides of the shape, like the top of the rhombus and the bottom of the rhombus, you can see that those are parallel, matches those arrows. But if you drew lines on like sides next to each other, like the right side and the bottom, that doesn't make a right angle, so it's not perpendicular. And then they did what we did. We made a chart, although they put them in a weird order, parallel, both, and perpendicular. And they redrew them, so they put the cards all in that category, which is what we did. I just wrote the names out instead of drawing them because some shapes are hard to draw and make it look like they actually should. Okay, connect it side on 723. Now you'll solve a problem similar to the one on the previous page to help you understand how to sort shapes into groups based on parallel and perpendicular sides. Evan gets 2 more cards. In which sections of the board do the cards with these shapes belong? So his 2 new cards are this purple square and this very strange quadrilateral. So quadrilaterals just mean they have 4 sides. They can look like anything. So any shape with 4 sides, like this technically is also a quadrilateral. But this card, I mean, it doesn't have any other name. Like this isn't a rhombus, it's not a trapezoid. So this is just considered a quadrilateral. But anyway, number 1, Evan gets a card with a square. So this one. Where does the square belong? So in which category? Parallel, perpendicular, or both? So I know the square has parallel sides because the top, if I do the arrow thing, the top is parallel to the bottom. All right, those look like parallel lines to me. And this side is parallel to that side. I'm just not going to draw arrows all over the place. But it also has perpendicular sides because there are 4 right angles. Squares have 4 right angles. They are perfect square corners. So it has perpendicular and parallel sides. So you could just say both. I'm going to say it belongs in, and then I'm going to name that category. It was parallel and perpendicular. Such a long word. Sides. Okay, so that's the category that the square belongs in. Number 2, Evan gets a card with quadrilateral. Does that quadrilateral belong to any of the 3 categories on the board? If not, name a category that it can be used to describe that shape. So does it have parallel sides? No, because if you look at the top of the shape and the bottom of the shape, the opposite sides, those 2 will definitely meet. Okay, same with the sides. They're slanted in, so they'll eventually meet up here at a point somewhere. I don't see any right angles either. That's acute, obtuse, obtuse, and acute, so it doesn't have parallel or perpendicular. So, no, it does not belong in any of the 3 categories. So it says, if not, name a category that we can use. So what's a new category we could make? We could say it belongs in a category, no parallel sides. That would be somewhere this shape would fit. Or no perpendicular sides. So we could make a new category in the game is what we're saying. And it would fit in those categories. Or you could make a category that's like has 4 sides. It would fit in that one. Or has acute angles, or blah, 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 right? Any other way to describe that shape. But I guess today we're just working on sides, so maybe not talking about the angles so much. Okay, number 3 is for you to do 3 and 4. Explain how to sort shapes based on parallel and perpendicular sides. So how do you know if a shape has parallel sides? How do you know if it has perpendicular sides? How do you know if it has both parallel and perpendicular? How do you know if it has neither parallel or perpendicular? Like this one, it did not have parallel or perpendicular, so that belongs in the neither category. Okay, so that's for you to explain. And number 4 is just you're reflecting what strategy do you like the most for deciding what categories the shapes belong in. Like drawing the arrows or using your hands maybe to see if it's parallel or perpendicular. That's up to you. You're reflecting on your own work. So when you're ready, turn the page to the Apply It problems on the back on page 724. So number 5, describe the group that the shapes below belong in based on the kinds of sides they have. So parallel, or options, we have 4 options, right? Parallel, perpendicular, both parallel and perpendicular, or neither, no parallel, no perpendicular, okay? So definitely parallel sides. The top is parallel to the bottom on all of them. All the opposite sides are parallel. Left side, right side, left side, right side, left side, right side. So it definitely has parallel sides. But all of these also have right angles. Every single corner, every angle here is a right angle. So that means that this side is perpendicular to that side. Every side that touches, every side that makes a corner, like this side and this side are perpendicular. This side and this side are perpendicular. So every side that touches is, every side that makes a corner with another side is a perpendicular. So, and perpendicular. We're having to write that word so many times, you're going to be a pro at spelling it. Okay, so it belongs in the category parallel and perpendicular sides. Okay, number 6. Just that one. Circle the shape below that belongs in the group no parallel sides. Okay, well, I can tell that the top here is parallel to the bottom. And this side is actually parallel to that side too, because they're the same distance apart forever. So, can't be that one. That one has parallel sides. This one also definitely has parallel sides. The top is parallel to the bottom. This side, left side, is parallel to the right side. So, can't be that one. It has to be this triangle that has no parallel sides, because the top of that triangle is not parallel to this slanty diagonal side, right? Because they meet at a point right here. Okay, same with this one. It's not parallel to anything on the other side. So this is the only shape with no parallel sides. Okay, and number 7, there are a lot of options down there. Select all the shapes that always have pairs of perpendicular sides. So remember, perpendicular sides are sides that make a right angle. Okay, so, and it says always. So maybe sometimes like a parallelogram, because this is parallelogram, but do they always have perpendicular sides? Well, hexagon, if we need to go back and look, we can, but I could draw many tiny little ones. That's a hexagon with 6 sides. It doesn't have any perpendicular lines because they're all obtuse angles. Parallelogram was on the previous problem. It was kind of like that. Okay, no right angles, so not a parallelogram, doesn't have perpendicular sides. A rectangle like this one will always have perpendicular sides because rectangles always have right angles. Okay, a rhombus, oops, drawing it on the rectangle. Okay, there's my rhombus. There are no right angles here, so it does not have perpendicular sides. But a square always has right angles. So it will always have perpendicular sides. And a trapezoid. No right angles, no perpendicular sides. Just the rectangle and the square will always have perpendicular sides. Okay? All right, green practice pages. Okay, so on the example, it's kind of like the same game that was in the first problem. They had to sort these shapes based on their sides. So they put the rhombus and the hexagon in the category with parallel sides. The square and the rectangle have both parallel and perpendicular. And this triangle here has only perpendicular sides, no parallel. But this side on the triangle is perpendicular to this one because it makes a right angle right there. Okay? So number one, look at how the shapes in the example above are sorted into groups. Then look at the shape at the right. Which group does the shape belong in? So this trapezoid here, where would you put it? Which category? There are no right angles. This is an acute, obtuse, obtuse, acute. So that means it doesn't have perpendicular sides, so it can't go in the both category. But the top of this trapezoid is parallel to the bottom. Okay, because this line will always be the same distance apart from that line if they continue on forever, like lines do. So it belongs in the parallel sides group. Nice. Also, if you're feeling good about this already on session 2 and you want to pause this right now and go through and do the rest of this page and the back page on your own and then use this to check, please do. That's what you should be doing. If you're feeling good about it, pause the video, try it on your own, check your answers with me when you're ready. Okay, number 2. Suppose there's another group for shapes, no parallel or perpendicular sides. So new category in the game, it has neither. No parallel, no perpendicular. Circle the shapes that belong in this group. Well, for the trapezoid right here, I already decided it has parallel sides, so not that one. This strange quadrilateral here, well, the top is not parallel to the bottom because eventually this line and that line are going to meet if I keep drawing those, right? Same with the sides, they're slanted in. And there's no right angles, so this one doesn't have any parallel or perpendicular sides. Okay, same with this one. This pentagon with 5 sides doesn't have any parallel sides. Okay, none of the opposite sides are parallel. They'll eventually hit each other, right? Like this side isn't parallel to this one because eventually if they continue on, they're gonna hit. Okay, they'll meet. And these are all obtuse angles. There are no perpendicular sides. So that one matches that category. And that square, we know, has both parallel and perpendicular sides. Parallel, 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 right angles everywhere. So that belongs in the both category. So it's just these two. That quadrilateral and the pentagon. Back page. Okay, number 3. Zoom in a tiny bit. Okay, number 3. Select the kinds of side each shape has. So we just have to circle or color in the bubble for if it has parallel sides or if it has perpendicular sides. Okay, nothing on here is parallel. Okay, this side and its opposite side are already meeting at a point. Nothing on here is parallel. Okay, nothing is across from each other at the same distance, even slanted. Okay, but it does have this right angle right here. So this side is parallel or perpendicular to that side. So that just has perpendicular sides. Okay, it's a very strange pentagon. It's like a little house shape. So this side over here is parallel to that side. But it also has perpendicular sides. This left side is perpendicular to the bottom because it has a right angle right here. and this right side is perpendicular to the bottom because there's another right angle there. Okay, so it is actually both. That's a tricky one. Somebody wants to say hi to you guys. Trigger? Hi. Are you hiding? Hello? He's looking out the window at birds. I guess he doesn't want to say hi to you. Okay, back to math. So that one's a tricky one. I was like, wait, I have to circle both of them. But yeah, I guess I can. It has both. So that one's both categories. Tricky. Okay, this strange quadrilateral down here. No right angles. That's acute, obtuse, acute, obtuse. So it can't be perpendicular, but the top is parallel to the bottom. Because if you continue that line on in both directions forever, and you continue the bottom side on in both directions forever, they'll never touch. They're always going to be the same distance apart. So that one's parallel sides. And last one definitely has parallel sides, right? The top is parallel to the bottom, but the left side is also parallel to the right side. Same distance apart. But no perpendicular sides. Acute, obtuse, acute, obtuse. Just parallel sides. So even though there's only 4 shapes, you should have 5 stars for that one. Tricky little pentagon. Okay, and last one on the bottom, number 4. Select all the properties that always belong to each shape. Okay, so a rectangle. I'm just going to draw them on the side because I can. Okay, rectangle will always have parallel sides. The top is always going to be parallel to the bottom, and the left side is always parallel to the right side. But it also always has perpendicular sides because it's always going to be right angles. So this one, another tricky one, is both. Okay, a rhombus. So, I'm not the best at drawing rhombuses. But that's not half bad. Okay, so parallel sides, yes, this top is parallel to the bottom, and the left side is parallel to the right side. Okay, those are always, it's hard to tell, but up and down, right? At the same angle, and side to side, same angle. But there are no right angles. That's an obtuse, acute, obtuse, acute. So no perpendicular sides on that one, just parallel. So a rhombus will always have parallel sides always, but not perpendicular sides. And square. Okay, that's more of like a chubby square. It's like a rectangle, but we're not measuring. You're not judging. Okay, so top is always parallel to the bottom. Left side always parallel to the right side. Parallel sides. But again, like the rectangle, it's a square. It always has perfect right angle square corners. So these are perpendicular sides too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3 shapes. Tricky. Okay, so if you did this page on your own and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, if you got all 10 stars on this one, in my class we count them out of 10 stars, how many did you get? If you got all 10 with like these tricky ones with the doubles, good for you. Very proud. If you're still just following along with me and you got 10 because, you know, we did it together, nice work. That means you got 10 out of 10. Or maybe you got 9 out of 10. Or 8 out of 10. Or however many stars out of 10 you got. Okay? My class, we always count our stars. So, nice work. Lesson 33, session 2 is done. Tomorrow's lesson is lesson 33, session 3. See you there.